And 3 in 5 say they've eaten expired or spoiled food. Nearly 1 in...
Hey, shalom. Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start by saying, Brak Yahweh, Brak Yahushai, Brak Yahweh, Brak Yahushai, Brak Yahweh, Brak Yahushai, Kahalama Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakudash, and also the honor to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders grand moved on the rule well, and also shalom. To sincere Akiyamade pushing truth in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakudash. And I'm back again with a quick lesson. And this lesson is going into, it says, Ozzy is struggling for essential during this cost of living crisis. And I'm going to play the video first because it's on Facebook. I don't want to get scriptures and then trying to go back on Facebook and it doesn't open up. So I'll play the video. It's 3 minutes. But this right here, man, is to show you that we are coming into some, perilous times. We are coming into some evil times to where you are going to see famine of food, coming quickly with this living crisis or this cost of living crisis are going on worldwide. Not just of you in Australia, but this thing is happening worldwide, man, So let me go ahead and play this video, and then after that, I'm going to give precepts.
5 people surveyed by the Salvation Army say they had eaten from bins, and 3 in 5 say they've eaten expired or spoiled food in the past 12 months. Joining us now from the Salvation Army is Brendan Nottle. Brendan, in a country like Australia, this is absolutely shocking. Talk us through the survey. How many people you spoke to?
We spoke to 4,400 people, Deb, and they're people that attend our emergency relief programs all around the country. And we've been absolutely shocked by what we've seen. And we've often talked in Australia over the past couple of years about experiencing a cost of living crisis. We think the data is that damning that it actually indicates we're experiencing a cost of living emergency. That's how serious this is.
And of the findings that you've uncovered, talking about people eating from bins, people skipping meals, often on a daily basis, even watering down food like milk.
Well, the real tragedy too, Deb, is that people are children involved in this research. So we're seeing 35% of parents sending their children to school hungry because they simply cannot get enough food together for the child. And that is so deeply distressing because we're expecting kids to perform well and enjoy school. Well, they simply can't if they're going to school hungry. And it's not...
Let me see. Okay, beautiful. All right, yeah. All right, you know what? Let's do this here real quick. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." In Amplified, it says, "But understand this, that in the last days dangerous times of great stress and trouble will come, difficult days that will be hard to bear." And this is what we are living into right now, man. There's a squeeze, all right, that is causing worldwide right now upon people, such as the cost of living crisis, which is going to cause famine, where you're going to start seeing people losing their mind and, going against one another, just for the lack of bread, man. Okay. So we are in those perilous times right now. Eventually, what you see happening right now is going to get worse and worse. It ain't going to cool down. Okay. Right now, what you're seeing the beginning stages of famine of food, okay, coming to play, man. All right. You heard of people eating food from garbage, spoiled food, Yeah, it's here, man. Okay. There's no turning back. All right. Let's go from there and go to one of the precepts that we always read. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6 says, "And ye shall hear of wars, rumors of wars. All right, see that you be no trouble." Remember, Pastor Hodges did a lesson a while ago, a few days ago, should I say, saying that we live in the book of Matthew 24, the book of Mark chapter 13, and Luke 21, I believe. Okay. Yeah, we are, man. You can't deny that. If you say we are not living in those, chapters I just called, then you just ain't watching what's going on, man. Okay, your life is great right now. You know, you juiced in, in this fucking system. Okay. He says, it says, see there be no trouble, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah, these things are gonna come to pass, but this is not the end. Right? For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. You see, famine of food is coming in. All right, it's here. And pestilences, disease, outbreaks. You got it's like I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. You got the Ebola, you got the hantavirus. You know, there's another virus that was spreading over in Australia. You know, it was outbreak, man. Okay. And then and it says pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. All these things are going to be the beginning of Jacob trouble. All right. So before Jacob trouble happens, you're gonna see signs, okay, towards it, such as famine of food, pestilences, earthquakes, uproars of people. Okay. Let's jump to verse 12. It says, and because iniquity abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay. So as we go on, because iniquity abound, the love of many is gonna wax cold. It's gonna start by what? People, okay, no eating. All right. People who are used to eat 3 meals a day, it's gonna be 1 meal, half a meal a day. And people are gonna start losing their minds. You know? You know, a day no food. Okay? It's gonna start like that. And people gonna lose their shit. And that's when you're gonna see people go insane, man. Okay? Go after one another. All right? Let's go from there and give some research just to show you when famine took place, what people, you know, we're doing back in ancient days. This is the book of 2 Kings 6:25. Okay, this was a famine right in Samaria. It says, let's go to it. It's just an example, right? Second Kings chapter 6 and verse 24. And it came to pass after this that the Baghdad king of Syria gathered all his hosts, his army, right, and went out and besieged Samaria. Okay, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and 4 part of calves' doves dung for 5 pieces of silver. Okay, this was a famine that came upon people, and we're gonna read this in the Amplified. It says, it came about after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, Assyria, gathered his army together and went out and besieged Samaria. Okay, all right, and it says here, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and they besieged it until a donkey's head was sold for 80 shekels of silver. So this was, you know, this famine came in because the city was besieged. Where you're gonna see Esau, all right, when Esau starts, you know, when Esau is close to bringing his agenda, he's gonna squeeze you people out. He's gonna cause chaos after chaos. So for you people to beg for mercy, for you people to beg for you know, freedom, you know, for you people to eat. Okay, he's gonna do it like that through his fucking digital prison. Okay, so there was a great famine in Samaria, and they besieged it until a donkey's head was sold for 80 shekels of silver. You hear that? And a fourth of a cup of dove's dung for 5 shekels of silver. Talking about a Davi's shit, poop. That's what we were buying, man, because of this famine of food. Okay, that was, you know, that took place, okay, during that time. All right. Let me see if any more. Jeremiah chapter 14, 13 and 15. Then I said, Lord power, behold, the prophets say unto them, you shall not see the sword, neither shall you have famine, but I'll give you a sure peace in this place. Then the Lord Yahweh said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I send them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you false vision and divination. And you have individuals like that telling our people, that ain't no such thing as Jacob trouble. Second Ezra 15, that's not gonna happen in our time. That's not gonna happen. That God is all alive. You got niggas, really, walking around talking like that, man. Not going into prophecies. Okay. It says, unto you false vision and divination, and a thing of not, and the seed of their heart. All right. Therefore, thou said the Lord Yahweh, concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, I send them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in his land. You see? Right? Nathaniel is one of them. And those two fucking dickheads, Hakar Hassad. You dudes, man. All right? You're on the street handing out papers or pamphlets to our people. But you know what's on that paper? Is Jacob trouble written on there? To repent, to prepare to me their power? Pursuant to the book of Amos, chapter 4, verse 13 or 12, I believe. Prepare to me your power. Repent. That Jacob trouble is not. Are you niggas handing out those type of pamphlets? No, you're not. But you got guys to call GMS, home or is it home? Fear mongering. That we fear mongering, if that's how you say it. It says, and they say, yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in his land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. You see that? So you dudes how about Shimshai is going to take you out? He's going to consume you, man, for going around lying to our people. There ain't no trouble coming. That's not what it was. That's not the word of that's Saki. That's not how Saki. That's what not the word of Yahweh Shimshai says. He says that in these last days going to be perilous times, that there will be famine, lack of bread, that people going perish because of famine. Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13, and it's in the news, man. It's in the news. It says, Ezekiel 4 chapter 13, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles. All right, you're gonna start eating defiled food, man. You think you're eating chicken, but no, it ain't chicken. It's a goddamn human meat. Meat made up in a lab. You don't know what's in it. Even though the food we eat right now is already defiled, but it's not defiled to where, to a level where you're gonna be eating human food. You're gonna be begging for that, man. It says, where that draft them, we that I draft them. So whatever Jack is being scattered, right? Then said I, Yahweh power, behold, my soul have not been polluted. It says, for from my youth even till now have not I eaten of that which dieth of itself. You see that? Or is torn in pieces. Neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth. Then he said unto me, lo, I have given thee cows dung for a man is dung. Damn. That's crazy. And that's what's going to take place. And that, in our time as well, man. All right. And it says, thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith. Moreover, he said unto me, son of a man, behold, I'll break the staff of bread in Jerusalem. And today Jerusalem represents where our people are. Okay. Especially over in America. That's where the majority of our people are. And they shall eat bread by weight. Your food is going to be measured and with care. They shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, man. You see, that's the time we're coming into. All right. Believe it or not, man, we coming into that time because cost of living crisis. Okay. Let me see. Let's go from there. Yeah, let's go. Let's come here. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou here not the oil of the wine. All right, let's read it in the AMP. It says, and I heard something like a voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures saying, a quarter of wheat for a denarius, a day's wages. That's how much now food is really costing people, man. It's expensive shit. And it's going to get more expensive to where people are going to start what? Stealing, looting, breaking into warehouses and shit. Okay? It says a quarter of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarters of barley for a denarius, but do not harm the oil or the wine, which is going to the truth, man. All right? Let's jump to verse 8. And I look, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that was sat on him was death and hell. That's going, into Esau, and hell followed with him. And Esau is the one bringing this hell upon the earth, man. And power was given unto him of the 4 part of the earth to kill the sword, and with hunger. See, hunger, famine, right? Esau is causing it. Man-made famine. And with hunger and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Okay, and even an animal they're gonna turn against you people. They're gonna turn against people, man. All right. And how about Shusha is gonna release, all these type of animals that you have not seen, you haven't heard of, man. All right. Let's go from there and let's go here. Second Ezra chapter 6, and I'll go to verse 20. Oh, it's stuck here. Yeah, man. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. In suddenly shall the sown places appear sown, and the food store houses shall be suddenly found empty. In a minute, your stores ain't gonna have what you're looking for. Okay, either. We see how this few crises we're facing, either Esau can put a stop on trucks moving. Now if this crisis of diesel goes forth, farmers are gonna be affected, trucks are gonna be affected. You see that? And your stores gonna be found empty, and your warehouse is gonna be found empty as well. All right. And that's going to be the time where people are going to come against one another, man. All right. Real quick. Second Ezra chapter 8 and verse 15. It says this: for many great misery shall be done to them that in a lot of time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride, man. So many great misery is about to fall upon on our people, whatever you be scattered. Because you have walked in great pride. You don't want to seek up the Yahweh, Shem Yahshua, where, plagues are coming upon you people. All right. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, I'll bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. That's what the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahshua is bringing upon you, using Esau. For wickednesses have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hateful works are fulfilled. That's the reason why. Okay. Let's jump to verse 14. Woe to the world in them that do the written. You know what? Before we do that, let's go to verse 12. And Egypt shall mourn, and they found. You know what? Let's jump to verse 11. And I'll bring them with a mighty hand, and stretch our arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. America is going to be plagued as ancient Egypt was plagued. All right. And Egypt shall mourn, talking about America, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Lord Yahweh shall bring upon it. Okay, so yeah, America is going to be plagued like ancient Egypt was plagued, but it's not just going to be America. Okay, these plagues are going to be sent worldwide. Okay, so they did that to the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fell through the blasting of hell, and we fear for consolation. Right now, where I am, we had rain 3 weeks straight. Today was raining heavy. Tomorrow I think it's gonna be raining. I don't know about Friday. So farms around my area, they're going through it. Okay? Verse 14, woe to the war and them that do it therein. For the sword and the destruction drew not one people shall stand up fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand their power. And men shall desire to go into a city shall not be able, right? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Verse 19 is the key point. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of their lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see? Let's go from there. 2 Ezra 16 and verse 17. Woe is me who delivered me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine. So we in the beginning of famine right now, and great death, the beginning of woes, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when this evil shall come? Behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for men. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness and not be always mindful of scourges. Behold, victory shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils go up on earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, man. For many of them that do it upon earth shall perish of famine. You see that you're going to die because of famine, and other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroyed. So we coming into those crucial times, man. All right, and the last precept before I continue with the video is going to the book of Lamentation. It's like, yeah. It's Lamentation 4, right? This is the book of Lamentation, chapter 4, and verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. You hear that? For these pen away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field, man. You see that? In the NLT, let me read this in the AMP. It says, those killed with the sword are more fortunate than those killed with hunger. For the hungry pain and eat away for the lack of the fruits of the field. In a CSB, those slain by the sword are better off than those slain by hunger, who waste away, pieced with pain because the fields lack produce. You see, so it's, hey man. Oh, in NLT, those killed by the sword are better off than those who die of hunger, starving, they waste away for lack of food from the fields. See? Okay. So let's come back to this video. You son of a bitch. Damn. Let me see if I can find it. Damn. It's like, yeah. I lost the video.
I got bounced from Tamworth Base to the John Hunter to Newtown, where I received my first 3 surgeries.
Struggling to keep up with the cost of her breast cancer treatments.
Damn, what's the video, man?
They have long been the heartbeat, been tougher with
and vibrancy that make them.
Okay. So with that, man, I can't find the video right now, and I don't want to go to the messages to find it. So with that, man, I say, hey, shalom.